On the last episode of Ultimate Survival, Everest, 50 climbers began their push for the summit. On Team Discovery, Andrew and Hector are headed to the top, while Shauna headed to base camp. And Ben's climb became precarious.
At some point, hopefully in the near future, I'll have to go high on the mountain and go to at least 8,000 meters. And that is a hard process for me right now because I do feel drained.
Climbers have been living on Mount Everest for over a month. They've grown accustomed to this environment. Everest is their life now, and the acclimatization process is finally complete. That means it's time to lace up the boots and go for the glory. Time to risk it all. Time to do or die in pursuit of an epic dream. To stand on the summit of the tallest mountain in the world, Everest. The climb is on. Andrew Locke and Hector Ponce de Leon, Team Discovery's two professional climbers, have made it to Camp 3. Tonight, they'll get as much rest as possible. Tomorrow, they'll head to Camp 4 and then the summit. After all the hard work it took to get here, you'd think this would be the most enjoyable part, but
it's probably the night when you think most of home and where you'd rather be than up here on the mountain.
As Andrew beds down for the night, Annabelle Bond gets up. A British climber working with a team of Chileans, Annabelle is preparing to leave Camp 4. She's a day ahead of Andrew and Hector, and if all goes as planned, she'll be on the summit in 14 hours.
I was so nervous. I mean, sleep was absolutely elusive. You can't really eat much. Your stomach's just like this massive notch. You've got this huge ordeal ahead of you. So, yeah, no, I was not particularly rested, I must say.
It's hard to sleep at altitude. Harder still when you know lives are on the line. Ben Webster, leader of Team Discovery, lies awake at Camp 2, listening to radio silence, just in case. At Camp 3, another team leader is in his tent, but he's not quite as stoic as Ben. Andreas Delgado is leading 6 of his climbing friends to the summit, and they're intent on doing it without oxygen. It's cause for concern.
I'm not only worried, I'm a little afraid. We have different standards in the group. 3 people have been at 8,000 meters before, and 3 others haven't been at that altitude ever. And well, that worries me. First of all, for their own health. And then I don't want to have any problems up there. And then myself, I'm really scared. Because I really want to give it a good push without oxygen. I just hope it's not too cold. I don't get fucked by. I don't know if I have the strength. And I don't want to put myself in a situation where I need to be rescued or anything. I'm really afraid.
It's 5 a.m. First light has arrived, but the warming sun hasn't lingered over the mountain yet. Next to Andreas' tent, Andrew and Hector wake up. This is not a get up and rush out the door type situation. There's still hours of packing and hydrating to happen.
I don't think either Hector or I got any real sleep through the night.
We got up at 5 o'clock this morning to start melting snow because it'll take us about 3 hours to be ready to leave this morning when the sun hits the tent about 8 o'clock. So we're both feeling a bit tired, little headaches. Just having our first cup of hot drink, a cup of coffee this morning. We'll have another few cups before we go, I hope.
When Andrew and Hector leave Camp 3, they're headed for the history books. To get to the summit from here, there's an accepted strategy. First, climb to Camp 4, set up in the rubble of the South Col. Before it's midnight, climbers go again. By daylight, they'll be here on what's called the balcony. With nothing stopping them, they'll traverse the southeast ridge and onto the south summit, where fresh oxygen is waiting. Then, it's the infamous pillory step, where so many climbs have ended in heartbreak and tragedy. From there, it's almost all done but the bragging. On the summit ridge, climbers instinctively head for a chunk of ice that is higher than any other. When there's nowhere left to climb, they've done it. They've conquered Mount Everest.
Waiting. First cup of hot drink, a cup of coffee this morning. We'll have another few cups before we go, I hope.
When Andrew and Hector leave Camp 3, they're headed for the history books. To get to the summit from here, there's an accepted strategy. First, climb to Camp 4, set up in the rubble of the South Col. Before it's midnight, climbers go again. By daylight, they'll be here on what's called the balcony. With nothing stopping them, they'll traverse the southeast ridge and onto the south summit, where fresh oxygen is waiting. Then, it's the infamous pillory step, where so many climbs have ended in heartbreak and tragedy. From there, it's almost all done but the bragging. On the summit ridge, climbers instinctively head for the chunk of ice that is higher than any other. When there's nowhere left to climb, they've done it. They've conquered Mount Everest. Annabelle and her team are on the balcony, not moving. A human traffic jam has stopped all the climbers cold. Every team here hoped that someone else would be up early, attaching safety lines. That didn't happen. So, with limited oxygen, in deadly temperatures, progress is at a standstill for 30 climbers.
There's no road or breaking trail, so it's really, really slow. There's a huge jam up here, just tons of people, and it looks like we're the only people with rope. Anyway, it's tough, it's freezing, my feet are freezing, and I don't know, it's a long way up still, so I don't know if we're gonna, given that we're breaking trail, I don't know, who knows at this stage. Bye.
A team of Greek climbers thought they could ascend without safety lines. Now they've stopped too. Everyone waits for rope. Waiting is troubling. On May 10th, 1996, a huge crowd of people waited too long in the same area. By the time they summited, it was too late for some of them. A vicious storm blew through and killed 16 climbers.
4 times I wanted to turn back. 4 times because I was really frightened. I just thought, what am I doing? The Sherpas, I think, are phenomenal. They help you with your oxygen and they do, the ropes.
Sherpas from the Chilean team deal with the safety ropes. Everyone else stands around, conserving oxygen, waiting for the work to be done. Annabelle left Camp 3 with enough oxygen to last 18 hours. She's already used up more than half of that supply, and now she's going nowhere fast. Waiting like this is a colossal waste of time, and the clock is ticking. Annabelle has a strict curfew. At 1 p.m., no matter where she is on the mountain, she must turn around. Right now, it's 7 a.m.
It's freezing cold. I have my goggles on. I knew I had one shot. Ultimately, it's your legs that have got to get you up there. It's legs and lungs. That's the 2 things that take you to the summit.
Over 1,000 meters below Annabelle, Hector finishes bundling up his feet. Climbing above 8,000 meters is like walking on eggshells for Hector. 6 years ago, he got frostbite so bad